Do you believe in soulmates? Do you know the difference between twin flames and soulmates? Many of us get confused between the two, and we're obsessed with attracting our soulmate or twin flame. How do you know if someone is your twin flame? Stick with us until the end of the video to hear a Q&A from Aphrodite.
Hey, Mystics. If you're new here, welcome. If you already know us, welcome back. I'm Lisa Stewart.
I'm Susie Parker Goins.
And I'm Kai Bertrand. Welcome to the Mystic Mosaic Podcast.
We're here to help clarify, illuminate, normalize, and encourage you as you develop your gifts so you can confidently build a sustainable lifestyle for you, your family, and even your career.
We're providing information to use as a launching point for your own spiritual journey. We're not doctors, and we won't be giving medical advice. Plus, we won't be giving free readings. The information provided here is for educational purposes only. Let's start the conversation.
Okay, let's get into the definitions. A soulmate is part of your soul family. Twin flames are the mirror or your other half.
Yeah, for me, I think this is all about resonance. It can be positive or negative. We can have many soulmates and fewer twin flames. Having a resonance with soulmates is noticeable. With a twin flame, the resonance is very hard and very strong.
Yeah, Kai. For me, soulmates are part of your soul family, and so y'all tumble through life in so many different ways, like puppies in a pile. Then we take time in between lives to make soul contracts, to explore different aspects of concepts that we carry through the life. And soulmates can show up in a number of places. They're not just blood related. They can be close friends or strangers in the night. Okay, I won't do that one. Or just be strangers. No, I'm going to keep it. You don't want me to do it? Okay.
I've already got the earwig going.
My job is done. Thank you very much. Okay. Soulmates show up in a number of places, whether they are blood related, they can be close friends, or somebody you're just passing along in the street. And for me, twin flames are halves of the soul or a higher self. Like we said, they're mirrors of each other.
Thank you, Susie. I would really love to get into the myths and misconceptions of soulmates and twin flames. Kai, can you start us out?
Yeah, it's like there's a common misconception that soulmates and twin flames are interchangeable. They're not. The other misconception is that twin flames are always a good thing. It's frequently romanticized, and it can be a good thing, but it's not always. Twin flames can also create destructive relationships, like complete deconstruction of someone's ego. So they can, so it's a double-edged sword is what they can be. So people thinking that it's always this or always that, it's like, it's not always. A twin flame can rebuild a relationship, can help you to be stronger, but it can also totally devastate someone. Another misconception is that if you meet your twin flame, you must be romantically perfect for one another. That's not always true. And that your twin flame is always the exact right age for a relationship. That's not always true either. You could meet a twin flame that's like way older than you or way younger than you. And making a relationship impossible, or a romantic relationship impossible. Another thing is that people always think or always believe that twin flames always are in the right place at the right time. Not always. It's entirely possible that your twin flame is alive and well and living in another country halfway across the world, and you will never meet. So you just, this romanticized view of twin flames is something that's really not to your benefit. Another thing that people have a misconception about is that having a soulmate or a twin flame will fix everything about you, that it will make your life absolutely perfect. That is a huge misconception, because people are people. And so, even if that person is your twin flame and you feel that connection, that doesn't mean that it's going to be roses all around, because people are still people.
Yeah. Yeah. And roses have thorns. All good points, Kai. So let me ask, how can you tell if they are your soulmate or twin flame?
Oh, that can show up in a number of ways. We're just looking at that that connection here, is that you'll feel an immediate connection with somebody, whether it's past life memories that spring up. It's an energetic connection that you know each other. You're very comfortable, or you can talk about anything. You know, you hear those stories going on like, yeah, we talk for hours and hours, and that's a very possible connection, which relates to not feeling anxious around them. They help you to feel comfortable and safe. There's recognition in this connection. And it's relatively easy to manage this relationship. You don't have to work too hard. But again, Kai's talking about how people are people, but you have a foundation that's been laid out so that you can understand more readily what's going on. And twin flames, they are just so intense, and it's all so much more from the very beginning. There's intense emotions, and it's not always good emotions. Soulmates can be can help you with your spiritual growth. You learn lessons from both soulmates and twin flames, but it's a different spiritual level of learning that you get from a soulmate, where you're both working on a particular issue that you've tumbled around in that puppy pile of life. And then with twin flames, it's very possible, because it is so intense and the lessons are so much bigger, that you're working towards planetary growth, starting a movement, or, creating such an atmosphere that it helps other people learn and grow from that, even in the devastation left behind.
You're watching the Mystic Mosaic podcast. Hit the like button and subscribe. Don't forget to click the notification bell to be notified when we upload another video. It helps YouTube share the episode with others who want to learn more about this topic. Let's get back into it.
Interesting. Susie, you also talked about lessons and managing, and I would really love to get into managing our expectations when it comes to twin flames and soulmates. The one thing I want everyone to do is just take a deep breath and stop obsessing. Walk away if you have to, if the relationship becomes too tumultuous, because as Susie said, it's supposed to be easy, right? If you talk for hours and you feel like the person you're talking to is so familiar, they're like a very comfortable pair of slippers, right? I used that analogy with Andrew many years ago, and I'm not so sure he was keen on that, but he understood. Next, focus on yourself. Copious amounts of self-love is warranted in every situation. Doing what makes you happy, right? Following your joy, following your bliss, working on yourself through, exploring and expressing yourself through hobbies. As you shift your energy, a light shines out to be a beacon. So when that happens, things move in such a wonderful flow that you're able to then kind of reprioritize your list, especially when it comes to making yourself first. Because when you do that, then when you meet up with your twin flame or your soulmate, things do become so much easier.
Yeah, that's true. Being a soulmate or a twin flame doesn't mean you don't have to work at a relationship, platonic or not. So don't be a dumbass about it. Use your emotional intelligence. Again, don't be a dumbass.
Don't be a dumbass.
Your communication skills, please, right? Understand the love language and understand what you need and what you want. Work on that shit. Don't be a dumbass.
Don't be a dumbass.
And of course,
do we have to do this part over?
No. Personal development. If you have personal development, you won't be as much of a dumbass.
Just seems like a great big duh. But when you happen to meet a soulmate or a twin flame, you let the relationship flow as it needs to. Don't get hung up on romanticizing everything. Not everything is a romantic relationship. particularly in the soulmate and twin flame concept. It's not every person you meet on the street is not always a potential partner. Sometimes your soulmate, your twin flame are friends, and that's it. So it's letting go of these expectations. That's part of the lesson I find that comes back with the soulmate twin flame concept. Still, just don't be a dumbass.
How can you draw a soulmate or twin flame to you? Do we use manifestation techniques to do this?
Yes. Decide what you want to manifest.
You mean not who?
Correct. Not who. Because it's not a specific person. You're looking for a kind of person. You're looking for different aspects of a person that will actually make them, your twin flame or your soulmate. Like you're looking for certain aspects of it. So if you don't, sometimes people get hung up on, I want that guy, like that particular guy or that particular girl. It's like, no, because then what you do is you actually block the flow of the energy, because that's not who you're supposed to be with. I mean, if they were supposed to be with you, then, technically, like, it would have kind of happened, right? Especially if you already like them and you've known them for a while and blah, blah, blah. So it's like, that means that it's not that person. That means that there is someone else. Even though that person might be great, there is someone who is a better match for you. And so you need to, like, let go of a specific person. And you could say stuff like, I like things about that person. Like that person, I like these qualities and I want those qualities in the person that I'm looking for, but not that specific person.
I was once working at a metaphysical store, a witchy store, and this girl came in and she wanted a love spell. And first off, the proprietress, she's like, I don't do spells. It's not my energy. And then particularly love spells, because you don't know how somebody's going to be, how they're going to turn out, that whole facade. And there was also the added bonus of this kid was 10. And there was this boy she really wanted to have like her. And so I talked her out of it. Well, I know I disappointed her because I said I wasn't going to do that based on those reasons. And yeah, I agree. It's looking for those general concepts, the person who's going to make you feel best. And how they make you feel. Are you comfortable? Do they make you laugh? Are you at ease? Do you feel safe? You don't have to explain yourself. Lisa goes on about how Andrew is very, I don't want to say tolerant, but he does make you feel comfortable about your explorations, right?
Yeah, he's supportive.
Okay.
Yeah. Tolerant seems very political, and he's not. He's very encouraging and very supportive. So when I come out with my stories, he'll sit and he'll listen and he'll engage and he'll ask questions. So yeah, at least it's not, that I'm tolerating you. And once in a while I do laugh at him and go, yeah, I know you're just placating me. He's like, no, I really do want to hear this.
And you had listed out some expectations, right? You had wanted some qualities. You wanted a personal chef and a chauffeur and what other stuff. And bada bing, it happened. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, that's the thing. It's like you have to, look for your conflicting beliefs and thoughts to replace and clear them out so that they don't block what you're trying to do. And, set your intention using resonant words, like things like how they make you feel. Like Susie just said, comfortable, they make you laugh, they make you feel at ease, they make you feel safe. They get you. Yeah. Use feelings and visualizations to make it real to your brain. Because the brain doesn't know the difference between reality and what you imagined. So if you imagine that it's already happened or that you already have this, then the brain goes, oh, and exerts energy to make that happen. Like, oh, okay, that is our reality right now. So then it helps to generate energy to create that. And then when you're ready, hand it all over to the universe and know that whatever you ask for or something better is coming. Trust in the universe.
I like that, or something better. I really like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we, again, our limited human experience says that, oh, this would be the perfect thing, but really, what if there's something else that you hadn't considered? The universe knows what that is. So leave yourself open to what you asked for and or something better.
Yeah.
And, then it'll do that. And of course, do your part, do whatever you need to do to kind of encourage that, or like have the opportunity come to you. It's kind of hard to ask for a soulmate when you stay home all the time, right? So
Go on those coffee dates, get out and meet people. Absolutely.
yeah, go do stuff, and do the stuff that you want to do.
Yeah.
So like, if you want to spend all your time in bookstores, then hello, you'll probably meet somebody in the bookstore, right? Or
Exactly.
whatever it is, like go on the coffee date, whatever it is you enjoy doing.
Yep.
That's probably where you're gonna meet somebody who might fit the criteria. So
Absolutely.
do those things.
Mhm.
And most of all, like, remember through this whole process to have gratitude about the whole thing.
Mhm.
Because really it's like, you're asking for something, and when once you receive something, just be grateful for it.
Yeah. Appreciate the fact that the universe is conspiring for you.
So we hope you have enjoyed our chat about soulmates and twin flames. Stick around because we've got a Q&A session coming up with Aphrodite. Let us know if you have a question or if there's a topic you'd like us to cover. Please consider supporting us on this journey by picking up Kai's Energy Shields audio course at handsonfire.buzz, or get your copy of Lisa's 2023 digital calendar. It includes moon phase energy, so you can plan your dates. You can get that at cocreatemagic.com. And don't forget to listen to my podcasts at bluelightninghealing.com.
Hey Mystics, it's Kai. I wanted to give you some background on the Q&A with Aphrodite. Susie, Lisa, and I get together to plan our episodes ahead of time. On the day we were planning this episode, one of us mentioned Aphrodite, and she stepped forward to me, willing to answer questions. As it wasn't planned, she had already answered a couple of questions on the subject of soulmates and twin flames before we started recording. The beginning of the recording is abrupt, but we hope you enjoy her impromptu visit as much as we did.
No, she's like, I want them to know that part of the reason why they keep focusing on true love and not being able to find it is because they convince themselves that they love someone for reasons other than love. They allow other things to make to make a difference, to usurp the priority of love, and so that they don't allow true love to come in, because with true love, like, all the other stuff falls in line. So the money stuff makes sense, the kids, the pets, the house, all that stuff makes sense with true love. But people get stuck on their practicality stuff and think, well, that's good enough, so it must be true. It must be true love, when it really isn't. It's more like convenience, which is why a lot of people don't actually find the person. They just get someone who's close and call it good.
So when someone comes from a sense of desperation, they don't want to be alone. Does that undermines the search for true love?
Yeah. Yeah.
That and being in love with love, right? Because people are like in love with, being in love, or in love with getting married. So it's all the trappings of marriage minus the person to whom they're getting married.
Yeah. It's like, like, don't believe the hype kind of thing.
Mhm.
Like, everybody is like getting into the fairy tale of it because of the media and all that kind of stuff. And she's like, it takes away from the connection, because it's not about the trappings, it's not about the reception, it's not about the ceremony, it's not about anything. It's about the connection between the people. And people get hung up on that and think, well, here's a person who might work, therefore I'm going to try to massage it and make it be the perfect thing, when it will never be.
So it's a human construct that people fall in love with the physical looks. How does she respond to that? What tips does Aphrodite have as far as how to get your ego out of the way so that true love can shine through?
She's like, you know, unfortunately, like it's partly physical, right? You have to have that attraction in the first place, but it's our culture that tells us that that's what's most important, and not to look at who that person really is. That makes true love impossible for some people, because all they can see, all they can process is a superficial, because they haven't been, because they don't have the skills to delve beyond that, because they haven't been taught it, because all they understand is what's in front of them. They don't understand that there's much more to that. They work, a lot of people work on a very superficial level.
Okay. There was something else I wanted to ask her. Um, this whole thing of true love. Frequently, when I talk to clients, I tell them, do they love themselves first? Does Aphrodite include that in her equation, for lack of a better word?
It's a requirement,
Okay.
because if you love yourself, like really love and care for yourself, you would never even consider someone who was not deserving of you. And that doesn't necessarily in the terms of like I'm better than you. It just means that it's a person that resonates with you, that understands you, that you understand them, you have the same values, you have this, you know, like there's alignment on many different levels. And once you love yourself, you have come to the point where you know what your strengths are, you know what your weaknesses are, and you understand what your limits are. And once you get to that point, then you can actually, it's easier for you to start looking around for the people who resonate at your level, and therefore that's the person that is deserving of you and who you deserve.
There's so many masks when it comes to love. The guys who say, I'm a nice guy, when in fact they're not. How do we see past those masks?
Number one is trust your instincts. And number two, it's like, you know, actions speak louder than words. So pay attention to what they do, pay attention to how they act, pay attention to how they treat other people. And you'll start to see things, because people cannot, the mask is not impenetrable. We just need to pay attention. A lot of things we take for granted, a lot of things we brush aside because we don't want to see that, because we want to have this person be perfect, and therefore we're willing to overlook things that we should not be.
Okay.
So if you're really wanting to look beyond the mask, the signs are there. You just have to see them. You have to be willing to see them.
Willing to see them. So trusting what you see, trusting what you know in your gut. So it seems to me you're showing me that it ties back to this. Trusting what you see to what you get is tied back into self-love.
Yeah, because you have to, you know, she's like, you know, true love is not going to have an opportunity to really grow unless people really show who they are. And if they are not secure enough in themselves, they don't love themselves enough, they won't show who they really are to this other person. And the other person may be so wrapped up in their own thing that they won't notice when things are wrong. So that's how you get these relationships where, you know, where women go, oh, I didn't know. It's like, actually you did know, you just chose not to see what was there.
Okay.
I have a question on vulnerability. What does Aphrodite have to say about vulnerability?
True love requires it. because no one is perfect, and everybody needs something from their the people around them. So it's required, because it's anything beyond that is superficial. Like, I mean, like there's levels of it, of course, but like if you want to get to that that deep true love that everybody's yakking about, then vulnerability is required.
Okay. Which feeds back into trust, which feeds back into self-love. Okay. This makes great sense.
Anything
What
else?
steps can individuals take to cultivate self-love? And I know it goes beyond, for me, it feels like it goes beyond getting the facial masks and that's a manifestation of it, a physicalization of it. But what are the emotional steps somebody can take to develop their self-love?
She said start small, like you did with your ankle. It's like little, like baby steps kind of stuff. Like, hey, I'm really good at that, or well, I did that well. Like find ways to like boost yourself up in whatever ways you can. And then eventually you realize, like your energy goes up, you start to feel better about yourself. And then, when the hard stuff comes up, instead of like brushing it aside or sidestepping it, like look at it. Look at however much of it you can handle at the moment, deal with whatever you can, and then step back, to take a break, and then go forward again when you can. She's like, everything is a process. It's not an all or nothing thing. So start where you can, and but have a goal in mind. Like, what is your goal for doing this? Like, why do I want to do this? Like, what is my objective? If your objective is to find true love, then your first step is to take care of yourself first, and then you will eventually, be directed or resonate with the people that will get you closer to that person. And when that person appears, it's like, yeah, you may know, you may not know, but it's still a matter of you're an individual, that person is an individual, and then you have to see how things work out with you guys together, because it's not a matter of boom, instant magic like people think, even though it can be like that, but it's not always like that. But where you start is with yourself. It's an internal process. Everything starts internally. And then once the internal structure is stable, then it can actually radiate out to bring forward whatever resources are necessary to get you to where you want to go will then start to materialize.
Cool.
Can Aphrodite speak to worthiness?
It's a human construct. Everyone is worthy. It's just a matter of whether or not they think so.
So worthiness is not something that can be taken away by another.
Nope. Every person is worthy of love, of being loved, and is capable of love. It's just a matter of what level you resonate with. So, obviously someone who's very loving, very giving, that's, like almost like a saint-like quality, is not going to resonate at the level of love as like a serial killer. It's not the same thing, right? But there are some people who do resonate with the love of a serial killer, and that's where they are. But if you're, so they're capable of finding true love on that level of love, in that way. But there's, so there's like different levels. It's not like, that's the end all be all and that's where it's at. It's like people find true love at different points, because that's where they are. That's where they resonate. That's what they're capable of. and they make a decision as to what they're capable of.
Until next time, stay grounded, stay shielded, stay magical.